cold, hard tundra, friend, is not an easy place to make a life. When your pea freezes before it even hits the pen, you need balls of steel to make it through to the next day. Welcome, comrade, to Novosplovo. Hey guys, welcome back to City Skylines. Now I know a lot of you are thinking, I love Chaipan, and where is it? Well, they recently released the new mod pack, Mass Transit. It adds a whole load of cool stuff like ferries, blimps, specifically bus lines, things like that. Also traffic in general gets a lot of cool upgrades. So, I had to rebuild the mod pack that we had. A lot of the things that we had in Chaipan broke, and meant the city was kind of unplayable. The game just wouldn't load after the new expansion, and I couldn't remove enough mods to fix it. So what we've got is a new city that we're starting out with. Now I wanted to also use the snowfall pack, so we're also using a snowy biome to build our new city, and we're going to give it a Russian kind of communist USSR theme, and we're naming it Novosplovo. It's explosive, it's Russian, sounds great, right? Sure, cool. Now, we made a lot of mistakes as well with Chaipan, which is why it's great to start again. It gives us an opportunity for a fresh start. And if you're a fan of city building games, then honestly, fresh starts are pretty addictive. You find yourself just getting sucked into it. And after 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you rebuild the city. 20 minutes, rebuild, 20 minutes, rebuild, until you're finally at a place where you feel like your city's doing well. So we're going to go forwards on this new map. Now, if you want to follow along with the series, in the description, there should be a link to the collection that I've put together. That's every single asset and mod that I use in this series. But I might be adding to that in future, so stay tuned to that. And also, if you want to add your own assets to that as well, or you want to suggest assets or good packs and collections, make sure you do that in the comments section. I might see it and check it out for myself. But that's if you want to follow along and build your own kind of wintry themed cities. Now, snowfall brings a couple more problems with a map. Namely, the first one would be roads. Roads get covered in snow, so you need to clear them out and have it's kind of like a dump for snow. And the first thing we're going to do, since it's getting late, is we're going to turn off the day-night cycle. Mostly so that you guys can see what we're doing at home, because one of the big problems with Chaipan was that a lot of the time it was nighttime, and it made it really difficult for you to see what I was doing. That said, though, the nighttime coast really did bring that city to life. So once we're well in our way and we've kind of got things up and running, we'll turn that night cycle back on, and you can see what Novosplovo looks like under the glorious stars. So, without further ado, let's get going. So the first thing we do, of course, is we build connections. We've got a nice little intersection here. It comes with the map, and if you look over here, oh man, that's a fancy swirl over there. But this map was designed for you to be able to use all 81 tiles. And they are all purchasable. And the greatest thing about that is it means we won't be squashed in. There's a lot more buildable space in this city than there was. Is that a train line? I think it is. Than there was with Chaipan. Chaipan was full of mountains, and while there's a fair share of mountains in this map, we're kind of a lot more free to do what we want because there's a lot more flat land as well. But that's with the added downside of the snowfall complications. Another snowfall complication actually as well. What we're going to do is we're just going to build a small road here because that will unlock the bigger roads for some weird reason. Now we're going to start off super simple, and the one thing that can really mess you up when you start a city is you spend all of that cash really quick and you waste it. So often I've built a really cool sweet road layout that I've been really happy with. I've put down some zones, and then when I've come to put in the power and the water, I can't afford it. So what we're going to do first thing is put those utilities down straight away. Now we need a place to draw the water from, and there's a nice stream over here. So we're going to plonk a water pump. Yeah, maybe we'll hide it a bit from the motorway, and we'll put it there. And that should get us all the fresh water coming down the river. Now, if you saw the Paradox stream from ParadoxCon, you'll realize I made a... I don't know.
It's true, and it seems to be going actually really well for him. Yeah, I can approve that message.
That whole stream was a whole train wreck, but one of the big problems I had, and one of the big mistakes I made, was the sewage outlet was too close to the water pump. And after about half an hour, my civilians were drinking their own poo, which is never a place you want to be, I would say. That said, though, we do need a sewage outlet, and we've got precious few options. Now, we can pollute our entire river, which we really don't want to do. We can turn this lagoon into a kind of poo lagoon, which we don't really want to do either. And we can't buy another tile yet, so we're kind of left stuck polluting our coast just a little bit. So it might be worth putting the sewage outlet all the way over here, because that makes all of this coast generally okay. In an ideal world, what you do is you dam off the area where the poo comes out, and then it doesn't contaminate the rest of the bay. But we'll have to see. Maybe actually this cove here will make a good short-term solution for our sewage issues. Yeah, we'll plonk one here, and fingers crossed we don't get screwed over by that in the long run. One can only hope. So now that we've got those two down, they're pretty cheap themselves. It's the piping that becomes expensive. The power lines and, of course, the power plant, that's the big expense. And roads themselves aren't cheap either. So what we're going to do is we're not going to do a roundabout. What I really like the idea of is a square. I love the idea of like having a much more grid-like city. A lot of people swear by rounded, pretty, beautiful, circular cities. And don't get me wrong, those things look amazing. But the one thing they don't look is communist and very kind of hard, cold north. But grids, they look super utilitarian and very, very Novosplovo. Now, again, to survey the map, there's a few little kind of fixtures that have been plonked down on the map just to kind of make it all pretty and stuff. So we have like some ruins here, what looks to be an old graveyard. Oh, man. And there's also a little wooden shack out here. Why is it here? I don't know. Maybe it's the old mayor before Novosplovo fell into disrepair. But either way, the motorways come out this way, which means progress has come to Novosplovo, and we're going to improve it as much as we can. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to try and build a square here, and that's going to be the start of our city. Now, we are going to have to trash, I think, this little wall here. It's a bit of a shame, but, you know, history has to make way for progress sometimes. I can't do that. But what we can do is we can come over this way a bit. Whoops, we don't want it facing that way. We want this to be like a one-way, almost like, not really a roundabout, but more like a square about, if you know what I'm saying. And there we go. This is it, Novosplovo Square. So they come out of the city, and they come to this weird kind of roundabout that kind of works at the moment, and we can have something cool and picturesque in the middle that really shows off our city and what it's about. Now we're going to trash this road over here, so we no longer need it. And we have to keep a careful look at the bank balance. Again, this is the big problem that you have at the start of the game. We're also going to pause it, because now we've put roads down, we're losing cash. So what do you reckon? So I'm thinking about planning out this city. We've got the cool square over there. We don't need to worry about power and water just yet. We'll hook those up once we've planned out some of our districts. This area, now because of the sewage pipe, makes me think that maybe we want to put a bit of industry here. That said, though, the coastline is really nice space for houses. So what I might do is put a bit of a residential area here. And a bit of an industrial area over here. And then perhaps have a large commercial district over here. One of the biggest things we had, one of the biggest problems with Chaipan, was the fact that so much industry was trying to get to the commercial zone, especially the high-density commercial, and that really kind of screwed over our traffic. But we'll have some residential, some small commercial within it, because everyone needs a corner shop here or there. That shouldn't take up too much industry, and then we'll have the big commercial zones, a big shopping center over here, and then we can expand out this way, and then the sky's the limit. Once we have that core baseline, we can also build another residential district over here, and I think we should be fine. So we're going to come out this way with a 6-lane, a big one. Or can we actually? Where is it? Highways? No, we want a large road. Probably a 4-lane should be fine. And we'll come out from here this way, bring it out all the way over here, and this is going to be our connection to the industrial zone over here. Bam. Okay, it's down. So now it's time to flesh out our little industrial zone, our little industrial park. And again, we're going to use normal roads this time. Now that we've got this big traffic way coming through, we shouldn't have too much trouble if we build all the roads as 2 lanes over here. We can come out. Again, I like the idea of straight lines. But it doesn't mean we can't be zigzagged. So we're going to go up 20 units that way. And we're going to try and maximize our space here by getting some solid grids. Now, I like the idea of grids for the industrial district because it's got to be a very uniform and orderly place, right? And then we'll connect those up like... Oh, wait, can't do that. Can do this, though. Sure. And then we'll come down and do the same and add a bit more down this way. Now we're going to use the terrain as much as we can. Whoops. There we go. And it does actually flatten the rocks, which is quite lucky for us. But there we go. We'll build that back up there. We'll build this right down the middle. And this is a very efficient industrial zone, isn't it? Now, again, cash is a big, big consideration, and we're going to be sparing as much as we can be with that. So we'll start off with power. Now, what does Novosplovo scream to you? What it doesn't scream to me is renewables. No way. This is Russia. This is the cold, hard tundra, where coal is king. And to reflect that, we're going to put a coal power plant down here. Now, I love the idea of symmetry, especially in a very uniform communist city. And also, since we're going to be having, I think, enough demand for 2 of these, it might even be worthwhile if we put one here and another one here. So we're going to save this space, make a marker out of that, and we'll put another power plant right there. And you come down Novosplovo Square, bam, 2 big coal power plants. We'll obviously flesh this out with a bit more industry, but I don't want to pollute the industry too much. Industry works really well when you keep it nice and tidy with parks and things, and it can be a bit of a temptation to put your rubbish dump there and other utility places, but a rubbish dump is kind of, nobody wants to see that, even people that work in a factory. So we can even hide that out of the way in the corner somewhere with a dirt road going to it, and it shouldn't be too bad. Although it might be when the city gets busy, but we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. Long term, though, we'll definitely use trash incinerators, which are kind of a bit better for the industrial area. So this is our budget, because we put down the power and the water. And again, like I said, we're going to have to go through the milestones with this game again. Every milestone gives you more problems to deal with. Your city's simple until you get so much population that they can have services. A population that can't have services isn't too worried. I mean, they don't know what healthcare is, so they don't need a hospital. Unfortunately, pretty soon, people in Novosplovo are going to find out what A&E is. And that's bad for us. It's good for them, but it's bad for us, because it means we have to provide that. So again, with the 2-lane, we're going to come out here, and like I said, I'm going to be very expansive with this. This is the frozen north, but it doesn't have to be exactly straight. So what we're going to do is we're going to come out weirdly. This is going to be very weird, actually. You're going to probably think, why is he doing this? But there's methods to his madness. We're going to come down with a road here that goes diagonally straight down all the way to the coast. What that's going to do is it's going to give us the option in the future to build a bridge, perhaps, over this way or that way or into the sea. Who knows? We might build our own man-made island and live out there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in a straight line all the way, so using straight line tool, all the way down here diagonally. Now you can hold control to have snapping to different degrees. And we want, I think, is 135 the right angle? I'm not sure it is. Let's get an overhead look. I think it might be. If that's 90 and that's 90, what's halfway between 90 and 90? Ah, well, you can see there it goes from 130 to 135 to 130. So 135 degrees is the exact diagonal. Cool. Sounds good to me. And we're going to come all the way along to the coast. We're going to give the coast a bit of breathing room, so we're going to put some housing along there as well. Bam. Looking good. Oh, yeah. Novosplovo. It's straight, it's orderly, it's uniform. It's going to be amazing. So, what now? We're kind of not really perpendicular to the coast, but that's fine. Whoever said you needed to be, right? Well, it would be nice to be, though, wouldn't it? So what we might do is we might come across with some blades, like some diagonal blades like this. What do you reckon to that? That sounds good to me. Might upset the rhythm just a little bit, but that's not so bad, I don't think. There we go. It's square, it's awkward, it's weird, it's very angular, it's very Novosplovo. Alright, so we want to draw another line up through here, and we'll keep this very simple, very safe. Remember to be mindful of your cache as well, but this is a great place to start. I like the look of this. I really like the look of this so far. And we're going to just do some connecting roads here, because they're useful. And I reckon, yeah, there you go. Looks pretty good so far. So we've got our future residential area and our future industrial area. There's lots of areas we could put down in between, but we're not going to bother yet, because that's a long way down the line. What we will need, though, is some power lines. And I think bringing power lines across the side of this is a good idea. Across the motorway is a great place to feed those, because people won't really expect you to do anything else with those. So we'll bring it down along here, over here, down to here, and then try and drag it parallel to this road. Now what this is going to let us do is keep the area uniform. Already looks beautiful. Oh yeah, great start. Nice and crisp and clean. One of the problems we have, though, is obviously the waterworks need some power. It's going to be difficult to get that efficiently over here without breaking our first rule of uniformity. There's a couple of options. We could put down a wind turbine solely with the idea of powering this water plant. And that's not a bad idea, because we can bring the power off of this back onto the grid. It will cost us 6,000 simoleons, but I think that's fine. Could even put it on a hill, actually. That might be kind of cool. It's not very Novosplovo, so we're not going to bother doing it. We're going to stick with coal power, because, like we said, coal is king. So where can we build these power lines? Let's take a look. What happens if I build it here? Is that going to be bad news bears? Yeah, it's gonna wreck that house. So we're going to come over the motorway like this. And then we're going to come over parallel to this road. All the way along here. And oh man, yeah, look at this. This power line in itself. Oh, it's going to go through that rock as well. We don't want to do that. It's a nice rock. Can we dodge that rock? Yeah, maybe we can. We can go around the rock. It's expensive, but I think you've got to respect the rocks. Right? Sure. That power line alone has cost us close to 5 grand. It might have been cheaper. It would have been cheaper to build a wind turbine than to build that stretch of power line. Crazy, eh? And we would have gotten some free electricity out of it as well. But that's out of the question now. So what we're also going to do is pipe up this place. We're going to be uniform with the pipes as well, as much as we can be. And bring it up here. Down like that. And that covers this entire zone. We're then going to come across in a straight line to the water, and then a straight line to the sewage. But, of course, the industrial area is also going to need some of that sweet, sweet water. So we'll bring this over here, and then spill it off around the industrial complex like this as well. And again, this is pretty expensive, isn't it? We're building perhaps a bit too big for our boots, and honestly, the road maintenance on this is pretty pricey at the moment. But that's fine. That's a-okay, because we should have people moving in pretty quickly. And now it's time to paint the town green.